Hi, I'd like to share with you a powerful idea that I learned about 15 years ago, as well as some other concepts I recently picked up on, and hopefully they'll help you as much as they've helped me. So first I want to talk about a best-selling book by Robert Kiyosaki called The Cash Flow Quadrant. Now while this book came out in the year 2000, Robert really describes in it how money is made better than anyone I've ever heard. Now the title is based on this diagram. There are 4 sections here, E, S, B, and I. Each one describes the 4 distinctly different ways that anyone can make money on a regular basis. E is for employee, S is for self-employed, B is for business owner, and I is for investor. You'll notice that there are also 2 halves here, separated by color. On the left side are employees and self-employed, and Robert says they're about 95% of the whole population. But ironically, only 5% of all the wealth is created by those on this side. And this is because they're all trading time for money. When they stop putting in the time, they stop making the money. So whether you're employed at a fast food restaurant or a vice president of a major corporation, as an employee, you're trading time for money. Likewise, if you're self-employed, such as a doctor or a lawyer, you may make more money than the average employee, but you're still trading time for money. As an example, I have a friend who's a chiropractor, and years ago he was in a pretty bad motorcycle accident. Now, he survived okay, but it damaged up his hands pretty bad. And since most of his work involved using his hands, he couldn't work for a significant period of time. So, though he normally got paid really well, since he was physically unable to put in the time, for nearly a year, he was blocked from getting any money. Despite everything, his monthly personal income became no different from that of a person who's completely unemployed. So 95% of all people are stuck in this paradigm. These are called active incomes because they require consistent activity to maintain the flow of cash. So what's the reverse side of this? Well, on the right side are business owners and investors. They make up the remaining 5% of the population, but these 2 types make 95% of all the wealth. The secret to this side's success, the reason why they make all this wealth, is that they put their value in systems. The relationship you have with business systems is key to how much wealth you make. And here's what I mean. The business owner owns a business system. The investor invests in other people's systems. While on the other side, the employee works in someone else's system, and someone who's self-employed is the system. Now, understanding the difference between how you relate with business systems not only can change how much money you make, but also how you make it. Remember that while this side needs to be active to make money, the right side actually allows you to make your money in a passive way. Now here's another way of looking at the same concept. Let's say we turn back the clock, go back a few hundred years, and let's say there was a village and the way the village got their water was to transport it from a mountain spring with fresh water on the other side of the mountain. Now up until now, people would just haul buckets there and fill them up with water, bring them back home. Now people on the left side of the quadrant view money the same way these people viewed water. They go back and forth from their place of business, filling it with money and bringing it back home. That's why it's called an active income. So back to our village example, let's say one day someone decides to build a pipeline instead of hauling all those buckets. Well, everyone would probably be pretty confused at first. Why is that guy wasting his time building that thing when he could be hauling buckets? It would take a long time and it would be tough. But once that pipeline was built, that person would never need to haul another bucket. Every time they wanted water, they just open a valve. On the right-hand side of the quadrant, these people treat their money like water flowing through a pipeline. Now, it takes a lot of planning, focused thought, and hard work to get a financial pipeline built. But once it's built, just like the water pipeline example, all you have to do is open the valve and the income just flows out. In other words, people on the left side of the quadrant only make money on what they do, while people on the right side focus on making ongoing money for what they did. This is the key to a stable financial future. So, why am I going through these ideas about life and money with you? Well, I mentioned in the beginning that there are some interesting ideas I came across. Here's a basic outline of what I was talking about. A number of us started a project that's an online community, a lot like Facebook, only it has an e-commerce marketplace attached to it, very similar to Amazon. It ties together a few major concepts that you may or may not be familiar with. Economies of scale, direct relationship marketing, the local purchasing movement, and an automated repeat business model. Now, if you tie all these together with the latest trends and referral plans that companies like Netflix, Uber, and DirecTV are using to explode their growth, Well then, you've got a composite blueprint for something that is completely new and has actually never been done before. What we're developing is a long-term, realistic business project that is taking specifically qualified people from the left side of the quadrant and partnering with them in order to move over to the right side. And just so we're clear, the ideal candidates we're looking to partner with are hungry, teachable, and dedicated. Now, if you think you're interested in finding out the specific details and see if you qualify to participate, then there's actually going to be a very good reason for getting involved immediately. But I can't go through that with you right now. Let's just say, I highly suggest you find out what's next.